Now, the United Nations Development Programme has released its latest report on inequality at a conference here in Istanbul. And Azhar Sukri is there and joins us now live. So, Azhar, what's the main focus of that conference?
Thanks, Kamali. Yes, we are here at the Istanbul Development Dialogue, and inequality has very much come to the fore in the years since the global financial crisis. But we can't really talk about inequality and the things driving it without talking about also some of the other issues that we've been talking about today, including the refugee crisis. Now, one of the countries at the sharp end of the crisis is Macedonia. And joining me now is Louisa Vinton. She's the head of the UNDP's mission in Macedonia, where we've seen thousands of refugees gathered at the border. Ms. Vinton, tell us, from the UNDP's point of view, what are you advising the Macedonian government to do at this time?
Well, we've been working with the government now for almost a year in dealing with this issue. And in the course of last year, over 900,000 people crossed Macedonia on the way to more prosperous locations in Northern Europe. Our advice has always been to respect the human rights of all people in transit, whether they're so-called economic migrants, whether they're refugees, and to provide the basics of humanitarian care and support. And that means addressing the vulnerable groups among those. So they're often women who've suffered violence and abuse along the way. They're often children. And we see now the share of women and children is almost 60% of those on the move. We have almost 2,000 people crossing the border every day. So really our advice has been at a base to provide the needed humanitarian care so that people stay healthy. The important thing to remember is that people do not want to stay in Macedonia, that this is a group of people that's very focused on getting to Germany, getting to Sweden, getting to the more prosperous locations in the European Union. So really the government has very much an approach that this is a transit country, and this is the common approach along the Western Balkans route.
And how receptive, in your opinion, has the Macedonian government been to that message?
We've seen really an outpouring of support from civil society and from non-governmental organizations. This was really the catalyst, I think, at the start when people were still in transit in a not fully legal fashion. Now people are moving legally. So we think the Macedonian government has done a good job in ensuring the basic necessities for a transit population. Where they might face difficulties is if borders close and people are trapped in the country. But even there, we've seen now the restricted access to the route to the north at the border in Gevgelya. So we don't anticipate large numbers of people being trapped there. The solution is more that we see that Macedonia needs to work with other European countries to find legal pathways for the hundreds of thousands of people who are now in Turkey, in Greece, all along the route, seeking a safer place to live. And that doesn't mean everyone needs to be concentrated in Germany, but to find solutions that share the burden across Europe and across the world.
Okay. Louisa Vinton from the UNDP in Macedonia, thank you very much indeed. And we'll be getting back to the issue of migration and the links with inequality a little bit later on today. But for now, it's back to you, Kamali.
Well, Azhar, in Istanbul, thank you.